Duan Rufeng. Rufeng. Duan Rufeng. I should have known. After receiving Gu Li's confirmation, Duan Ling Tian took another deep breath. It was a while before he managed to calm his agitated emotions. It turned out that his cheap old man was precisely the mansion master of Azure Cloud Mansion. This is too incredible. Even though it was confirmed, Duan Ling Tian still had an unreal feeling. His cheap old man was actually the mansion master of Azure Cloud Mansion. What was Azure Cloud Mansion? That was one of the two most powerful forces in the lower domain of the Dao Martial Saint Land. As a quasi-third-rate force, yet surpassing most quasi-third-rate forces, it was an existence that could stand shoulder to shoulder with the old overlord of the lower domain of the Dao Martial Saint Land, Inshan Black Market. It was said that the reason Azure Cloud Mansion could stand shoulder to shoulder with Inshan Black Market was entirely due to the current Azure Cloud Mansion master, Duan Rufeng. And the current Azure Cloud Mansion master, Duan Rufeng, was precisely his cheap old man. If there were no other additional conditions, and he had only heard that the Azure Cloud Mansion master was named Duan Rufeng, Duan Ling Tian would not have connected the Azure Cloud Mansion master with his cheap old man, because in this world, there were many people with the same name. Coincidences were normal. But now, the situation was different, because in addition to having the same name as his cheap old man, the Azure Cloud Mansion master also had many common points with him. Both came from the mortal continent. Several years ago, both brought their relatives from their hometowns in the mortal continent to the Dao Martial Saint Land. Both rose in the lower domain of the Dao Martial Saint Land in less than 20 years. If having the same name and one common point were coincidences, then what about the second common point and the third common point? Could they all be coincidences? Therefore, after learning some things about the Azure Cloud Mansion master and his name from Gu Li, Duan Ling Tian was 100% certain that the Azure Cloud Mansion master Duan Rufeng was his cheap old man. So father is the Azure Cloud Mansion master. Then everything from before makes sense. After confirming that his cheap old man was the Azure Cloud Mansion master, Duan Ling Tian thought of all the past events related to his father and suddenly felt enlightened. So, the message on the sound-condensing jade slip in the exquisite jade box that father left for me back then was to have me find his subordinates, and then have his subordinates bring me to Azure Cloud Mansion? Duan Ling Tian still remembered that it was precisely because the sound-condensing jade slip was damaged that he missed the opportunity to reunite with his family. It was also because of this that he alone set foot in the lower domain of the Dao Martial Saint Land, without relying on anyone, completely fighting his own way. No wonder Xuanai also said back then that father was not simple. Now it seems, he is more than just not simple. Thinking of what Han Xuanai had said to him back then, he couldn't help but smile bitterly. Azure Cloud Mansion Master. One of the two strongest powerhouses standing at the pinnacle of the lower domain of the Dao Martial Saint Land. In the lower domain of the Dao Martial Saint Land, apart from the guardian sent by the first-rate force from the upper domain of the Dao Martial Saint Land, the strongest existences on the surface were undoubtedly Dugu, the leader of the Inshan Black Market, and Duan Rufeng, the mansion master of Azure Cloud Mansion. If the sound-condensing jade slip father left for me had not been damaged back then, I would have gone to Azure Cloud Mansion long ago and become the young mansion master of Azure Cloud Mansion. At the same time, Duan Ling Tian couldn't help but lament the twists of fate. It turned out that the cheap old man he had been searching for ever since he arrived in the lower domain of the Dao Martial Saint Land was the Azure Cloud Mansion master. If he had known earlier, he wouldn't have taken so many detours. However, although this journey has been arduous, it hasn't been without rewards. At least, I met senior brother, Bailey Hong, and senior brother, Gu Li. If I had gone to Azure Cloud Mansion early, I wouldn't have been able to meet them. Thinking of this, Duan Ling Tian felt that although the journey had been tiring, it was worth it. Also, if I had gone to Azure Cloud Mansion early, I wouldn't have been able to come to Xiankong Mansion, and without coming to Xiankong Mansion, I wouldn't have entered Xiankong Mansion's Saint Martial Secret Realm. And without entering Xiankong Mansion's Saint Martial Secret Realm, I naturally wouldn't have been able to obtain the divine ability, minor devouring art. Duan Ling Tian obtained 2 advanced divine abilities in Xiankong Mansion's St. Martial Secret Realm. Flying immortal from beyond the heavens was fine. Perhaps he could have obtained it in Azure Cloud Mansion's St. Martial Secret Realm as well. But the minor devouring art was unique. Even in Azure Cloud Mansion's St. Martial Secret Realm, there was almost no possibility of obtaining it. All in all, the damage to the sound-condensing jade slipback then was both a loss and a gain for Duan Ling Tian. What he lost was the opportunity to reunite with his family early. What he gained were 2 senior brothers and the divine ability, minor devouring art. However, if I had gone to Azure Cloud Mansion early and become the young mansion master of Azure Cloud Mansion, I would have certainly brought Kur and little Fayer to Azure Cloud Mansion long ago. That way, they wouldn't have had to face the retaliation of the 5-clawed golden dragon Diju. And later, even if Kuder's twin sister came. With the protection of the powerhouses of Azure Cloud Mansion, she might not have been able to take Kur away. Thinking of this, Duan Ling Tian's emotions became a little downcast again. Junior brother Ling Tian, what's wrong? Seeing Duan Ling Tian's expression change drastically and his emotions fluctuate greatly, Gu Li couldn't help but ask. I'm fine. Hearing Gu Li's voice, Duan Ling Tian snapped back to reality and let out a sigh of relief. He knew in his heart that what was past could not be changed, and there was no point in thinking about it now. Isn't life like this, with gains and losses? Junior brother Ling Tian, you don't seem fine. After you heard the Azure Cloud Mansion Master's name, your emotions seemed exceptionally agitated. Can you tell me why? Gu Li asked. After asking, he added, of course, if it's inconvenient for you to say, just pretend I didn't ask. Senior brother Gu Li, although we haven't known each other long, friendship is about opening up to each other. I trust you, so there's nothing inconvenient to say. Duan Ling Tian said, the reason I was agitated when I heard the Azure Cloud Mansion Master's name is because his name is exactly the same as my father's name. Your father's name is exactly the same as the Azure Cloud Mansion Master's name? Gu Li interrupted Duan Ling Tian in surprise. I didn't expect such a coincidence. However, even though junior brother Ling Tian, your father's name is the same as the Azure Cloud Mansion Master's name, you don't seem to need to be so agitated, do you? Towards the end, Gu Li was a little puzzled, feeling that Duan Ling Tian's reaction just now was overly exaggerated. Same name? Hearing Gu Li's words, Duan Ling Tian couldn't help but shake his head and continued. My father and I also come from the mortal continent. What? Upon hearing Duan Ling Tian's words, Gu Li's pupils suddenly constricted, and a look of horror appeared on his face. Junior brother Ling Tian. You also come from the mortal continent? Are all the people who come out of your mortal continent so abnormal? First, there's an Azure Cloud Mansion Master, and then there's you. And your father. Your talent is so strong, your father must not be weak either. Listening to Gu Li, he still hadn't connected Duan Ling Tian's father with the Azure Cloud Mansion Master. He only thought that Duan Ling Tian said he and his father came from the mortal continent mainly to emphasize his origin. Senior brother Gu Li, that Azure Cloud Mansion Master is my father. Seeing Gu Li's slow reaction, Duan Ling Tian was helpless and said directly. Boom. Duan Ling Tian's blunt words, falling into Gu Li's ears, were no different from a bolt from the blue, causing Gu Li to stand there like a wooden chicken, completely dumbfounded. Azure Cloud Mansion Master Duan Rufeng is junior brother Ling Tian's father? How is this possible? After finally recovering, Gu Li looked at Duan Ling Tian and said with an incredulous expression, if you are the son of the Azure Cloud Mansion Master, then you are the young mansion master of Azure Cloud Mansion. How could the young mansion master of Azure Cloud Mansion possibly come to our Xiankong Mansion? Also, no. Your name is Ling Tian, and the Azure Cloud Mansion Master's surname is Duan. Duan. Ling Tian. Duan Ling Tian. You wouldn't be that guy who caused such a stir back then by obtaining the demon sealing tablet, would you? No. I've seen the portrait of the guy who obtained the demon sealing tablet, and you don't look like him. No, that's not right. You know the art of disguise, and that Li Feng, who appeared in the soaring Heaven Mansion region back, then was you in disguise. You wouldn't really be that Duanling Tian, would you? Towards the end, Guli himself was a little confused. That's right, I am Duanling Tian, and also the son of Azure Cloud Mansion Master Duan Rufeng. As Duanling Tian said this, the muscles on his face shifted, restoring his true appearance, a completely different handsome face. It really is you. Seeing Duanling Tian's true appearance, Guli couldn't help but widen his eyes. The appearance of the person standing before him now was exactly the same as the person in the portrait he had seen before. And the person in that portrait was named Duanling Tian, a lucky guy who had obtained the Super Saint Weapon Demon Sealing Tablet. After the news of you obtaining the Demon Sealing Tablet spread, you seemed to have completely vanished without a trace. I even thought you had been killed by someone. But I never expected that you would first disguise yourself as Li Feng and cause so much trouble in the soaring Heaven Mansion region, and then disguise yourself as Ling Tian and come to our Xiankong mansion. Gu Li smiled bitterly and sighed, never having imagined that his junior brother Ling Tian was the lucky kid who had obtained the demon sealing tablet back then. However, since you've revealed your identity to me, aren't you afraid I'll expose your true identity? You know, once your identity is exposed, you won't be able to leave Xiankong Mansion alive. Gu Li's expression suddenly became serious. Would you? Facing Gu Li's words, Duanling Tian smiled and retorted, seemingly not worried at all. No. When responding to Duanling Tian, Gu Li also smiled. He was naturally not the kind of person who would betray a friend. Let alone Duanling Tian only having one Super Saint weapon. Even if he had 1,000 or 100, he would not betray Duanling Tian. However, junior brother Ling Tian, are you really the young mansion master of Azure Cloud Mansion? As the smile on Gu Li's face faded, he looked at Duanling Tian with a serious expression and asked. Yes. Duanling Tian nodded affirmatively. Junior brother Ling Tian, since you are the young mansion master of Qingyan Mansion, with your status, why would you need to disguise yourself as Li Feng to participate in the soaring rankings battle and rescue Sister Xuanai? With just a word from you, would Chongshao Mansion dare to defy you? After learning that Duanling Tian was indeed the young mansion master of Qingyan Mansion, Gu Li was quite puzzled by this. He had heard all of this from Duanling Tian earlier. In his opinion, with Duanling Tian's status, Chongshao Mansion would not dare to disobey him with just a single word. Even the words of a young master from a quasi-third-rate force would be obeyed by Chongshao Mansion, let alone a top-tier quasi-third-rate force like Qingyan Mansion. Also, since you are the young mansion master of Qingyan Mansion, why would you need to come to our Xiankong Mansion? You could get much better cultivation resources in Qingyan Mansion. Gu Li was deeply perplexed. Senior brother Gu Li, it's normal for you to have such questions. However, you should know that until today, I didn't know that the mansion master of Qingyan Mansion was my father. Therefore, I naturally didn't know I had the identity of young mansion master of Qingyan Mansion. In such circumstances, I naturally had to do everything myself. Duanling Tian sighed. How is that possible? Hearing Duanling Tian's words, Gu Li was greatly astonished. However, recalling Duanling Tian's reaction when he asked for the Qingyan Mansion Master's name just now, he felt that what Duanling Tian said must be true. Junior brother Ling Tian, did your father never mention to you that he was the Mansion Master of Qingyan Mansion? Several years ago, he went to the mortal continent and brought back many relatives to Qingyan Mansion. Why didn't he bring you back with him? Gu Li was very confused. My father left me on the mortal continent. His original intention was to temper me. However, he still left me clues, telling me to find him in the Dao Martial Saint Land after I had the strength to stand at the peak of the mortal continent. Unfortunately, the clues he left me had some unforeseen changes due to my own issues. Thinking of the damaged sound-condensing jade slip in the exquisite jade box back then, Duanling Tian sighed again. Fate plays tricks on people. As Duan Ling Tian explained, Gu Li suddenly understood. So that's how it is. But it's also fortunate that there were changes. If junior brother Ling Tian, you had gone to Qingyan Mansion as soon as you arrived in the Dao Martial Saint Land, we might not have had the chance to meet. Indeed. Duan Ling Tian nodded, a wave of emotion washing over him. Junior brother Ling Tian, since you have confirmed that the Qingyun Mansion Master, Duan Ru Feng, is your father, what are your plans? Are you going to find him? Gu Li asked. Of course. Duan Ling Tian nodded without hesitation. Before I went to the domain of the Dao Martial Saint Land, my greatest wish was to reunite with my family. Now that I have news of my family, I naturally have to go find them. After knowing that his father was the mansion master of Qingyun Mansion, Duan Ling Tian wished he could sprout wings and fly to Qingyun Mansion as fast as possible. There, not only were his parents, but also his fiancée and his child. Counting the time, my child with little Fei should be several years old by now, right? Thinking of Li Fei and of his child with Li Fei, Duan Ling Tian's eyes involuntarily showed a tender affection. Seeing Duan Ling Tian standing there smiling foolishly, Gu Li knew he was thinking of his long-separated family and discreetly didn't disturb him, as if disturbing Duan Ling Tian at this moment was a crime. Just as Duan Ling Tian said, not long after those disciples from the Zhao family lineage left Xiankong Mansion, the news of Gu Li breaking through to the human saint stage spread throughout the entire Xiankong Mansion, causing a stir. The somewhat oppressive atmosphere that had been present due to the appearance of the devouring demonic art also improved. Senior brother Gu Li, has he actually broken through to the human saint stage? As expected of the guardian's son, a tiger father has no dog's son. Even the mansion master, when he broke through to the human saint stage back then, didn't seem to be as young as senior brother Gu Li is now, right? If senior brother Gu Li becomes our next mansion master of Xiankong Mansion, our Xiankong Mansion will definitely have a chance to become a powerful force like Qingyun Mansion and Inshan Black Market. It's just a pity that he once said that once he breaks through to the human saint stage, he will go to the Dao Martial Saint domain. First, there's Ling Tian, then there's Gu Li. Both are existences who have the hope of leading our Xiankong Mansion to a higher level. It's just a pity that they are both set on the Dao Martial Saint domain. As the news of Gu Li breaking through to the human saint stage spread, while the elders and disciples of Xiankong Mansion were astonished, they also felt some regret. Because they knew that Gu Li's breakthrough to the human saint stage also meant that he wouldn't be staying in Xiankong Mansion for much longer. Gu Li actually broke through? In the main mansion of Xiankong Mansion, Zhao Deng, the vice mansion master, also received this news. At the same time, some external comments saying that he was inferior to Gu Li also made his face darken. He and Gu Li were the sons of the two great guardians of Xiankong Mansion respectively, but when he was Gu Li's age, he was only a late-stage Great Saint Stage martial cultivator. Everything is relative. His talent was already considered good, but compared to Gu Li, in the eyes of others, it was not worth mentioning. Most importantly, they both had a guardian father. In short, this time, he had disgraced his father. Father! As Zhao Deng was feeling ashamed due to the rumors spreading outside, a familiar voice came, instantly changing his expression drastically. His face, which had previously seemed covered by dark clouds, instantly brightened as if bathed in sunlight. The dark clouds completely dispersed. Simply because he recognized the owner of the voice, it was his son, Zhao Ji, who had been out of contact for nearly 2 years. Previously, after Ling Tian and Zhao Kuan's life and death battle in the Heaven Hall's life and death arena, he had not seen his son again. However, because his son's soul bead had always been safe, he wasn't worried. Where have you been for nearly 2 years? I thought you had forgotten that you had a father like me. When Zhao Ji entered, Zhao Deng deliberately put on a stern face and snorted coldly. He looked serious, but if one looked closely, one could find that deep in Zhao Deng's eyes, there was clearly a hint of pleasant surprise, a surprise shown at his son's return. Father, I just felt a bit depressed when I saw how strong Duan Ling Tian was back then, So I left Xiankong Mansion and went for a stroll. This stroll has indeed brought me quite a few gains, Zhao Ji said with a smile. Quite a few gains? Humph. Did you make a bunch of bad friends outside again? Zhao Deng continued to keep a stern face and sneered. Father, I didn't make any friends this time. However, in the eastern area, I discovered a relic that is suspected to have been left behind by an existence beyond the Heaven Saint stage. As he spoke, Zhao Ji's face was filled with excitement. A relic suspected to have been left behind by an existence beyond the Heaven Saint stage? Hearing Zhao Ji's words, Zhao Deng could no longer maintain his sternness and asked with a look of surprise, Are you sure it's a relic suspected to have been left behind by an existence beyond the Heaven Saint stage? Yes. Zhao Ji nodded and recited the explanation he had prepared. According to the message left by the strong practitioner who left that divine ability relic, he was an existence beyond the Heaven Saint stage. Also, in the era he lived in, the Dao Martial Saint land had not yet been divided into domain and lower domain. As Zhao Ji spoke to this point, Zhao Deng's breathing quickened. The era when the Dao Martial Saint land had not yet been divided into domain and lower domain. That was the ancient era, and relics left by strong practitioners of that era were called ancient relics. In the history of the lower domain of the Dao Martial Saint land, there were many legends about ancient relics. Everyone who obtained an ancient relic eventually became a top-tier strong practitioner in the lower domain of the Dao Martial Saint land. Even if they later went to the domain, they still carved out their own world with their strength. And now, he learned that his son had encountered an ancient relic. Ancient relics usually contain the inheritance of strong practitioners. Does the ancient relic you encountered have an inheritance? Zhao Deng asked with quickened breath. Yes. Almost the moment Zhao Deng's voice fell, Zhao Ji had already nodded. The inheritance within that ancient relic has been obtained by me. Zhao Deng's eyes lit up. His son had obtained the inheritance of an ancient relic? For a moment, Zhao Deng's breathing became somewhat rapid. At the same time, Zhao Ji sighed and continued. Unfortunately, after I obtained the inheritance within, that ancient relic collapsed. I originally wanted to let father and grandpa also go in and see if they could obtain the inheritance, but now it seems there's no chance. Silly child. Hearing Zhao Ji's words full of filial piety, Zhao Deng was naturally very happy. The inheritance of ancient relics is generally passed down in a single line, which makes it precious. Your ability to obtain the inheritance will only make grandpa and me happy for you. What kind of inheritance did you obtain? Zhao Deng asked again. It's a demonic cultivation inheritance. To be precise, it's a beast-demon inheritance. Zhao Ji replied. Beast-demon. In the Dao Martial Saint land, besides humans who can cultivate demonic arts, saint beasts can also cultivate demonic arts. Human demonic cultivators are called human demons. Saint beast demonic cultivators are called beast demons. Beast demon inheritance. Zhao Deng's eyes lit up again. Demonic cultivation inheritances are generally better ancient inheritances. After you obtained the inheritance, did you have any changes? And almost the moment Zhao Deng's voice fell, a vast, majestic, and eerie aura suddenly surged from Zhao Ji's body, causing the surrounding temperature to drop by several degrees. Human saint stage? Zhao Deng, who sensed this aura, was also startled, his eyes widening abruptly, his face filled with horror and disbelief. Although he knew that the ancient beast-demon inheritance was not simple, he never expected it to be so exaggerated, allowing a martial cultivator who was only at the saint stage more than a year ago to step into the threshold of the human saint stage in less than 2 years. He never dreamed that his son was deceiving him. What ancient beast-demon inheritance? That was all fabricated. The devouring demonic art was the real deal. On the way back to Xiankong Mansion after leaving the remote area in the west of the Dao Wu Sacred Land lower domain, Zhao Ji had already found an excuse for his current level of cultivation. An ancient beast-demon legacy. In this way, his shift to becoming a demonic cultivator would be logical and wouldn't arouse suspicion. No one could have guessed that it was because he had cultivated the devouring demonic art that he was able to jump from the Saint Realm, cross the Great Saint Realm, and break through to the early human Saint Realm in less than 2 years. Jier, when did you obtain the ancient beast demon legacy? At some point, Zhao Deng's expression turned grave. It wasn't that he hadn't heard of ancient legacies. In the history of Xiankong Mansion, there were records regarding ancient legacies and the transformations of those who had obtained them. However, no one had been as exaggerated as his son. In less than 2 years, going from the Saint Realm to the early human Saint Realm, this speed of cultivation was simply heaven-defying. I encountered that ancient ruin a month after I first left Xiankong Mansion. Father, do you feel that my cultivation improved too quickly? Zhao Ji asked as he finished speaking. Yes. Zhao Deng nodded. Your speed of cultivation is not inferior even to those demonic cultivators who practice the devouring demonic art. Devouring demonic art. Hearing Zhao Deng's words, Zhao Ji felt somewhat unnatural inside, but he didn't show it. Although the person before him was his father, he didn't dare to tell him about his cultivation of the devouring demonic art, because he knew that once his father found out he had cultivated the devouring demonic art, he would definitely force him to disperse his cultivation. Anyone who cultivated the devouring demonic art, not to mention in the lower domain, even in the upper domain, was like a rat crossing the street, with everyone shouting to beat it. As the only seedling of the Zhao family, neither his father nor his grandfather would ever let him take such a risk. Jier. For some reason, Zhao Deng's expression suddenly turned grave, and his gaze locked onto Zhao Ji. Seeing Zhao Deng's suddenly grave expression, Zhao Ji's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that father suspects I've been cultivating the devouring demonic art instead of obtaining the ancient beast demon legacy? After all, a guilty conscience needs no accuser, so it was no wonder Zhao Ji thought this way. However, as Zhao Deng spoke, Zhao Ji couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. It turned out his father didn't suspect he was cultivating the devouring demonic art. Jier, be honest with your father. Since that ancient beast demon legacy you received increases your cultivation so quickly, it must be taking a shortcut. It wouldn't be some conscience-less method of cultivation similar to the devouring demonic art, would it? These were Zhao Deng's exact words. If it is, Father hopes you will disperse the demonic technique that the beast demon legacy gave you. Father has only one son, and you are the only seedling of our Zhao family. You cannot take risks. Hearing Zhao Deng say this, Zhao Ji secretly rejoiced, grateful that he hadn't told the truth. However, Zhao Ji was just brushing Zhao Deng off. Father, don't worry. The cultivation technique that the ancient beast demon senior passed on to me, although somewhat bloody, is not aimed at humans, but at savage beasts. The more savage beasts I kill, and the more savage beast hearts I obtain, the faster my cultivation speed becomes. That's good. Hearing this, Zhao Deng couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief, feeling a weight lifted off his shoulders. Father, where's grandfather? Zhao Ji had wanted to go find his grandfather, Zhao Jin, but discovered that Zhao Jin was not there. Your grandfather and Protector Gu left Xiankong Mansion together and went to the western region to find Hall Master Zhu. Zhao Deng said. Hall Master Zhu? Why look for him? Zhao Ji feigned surprise and played dumb. That Zhu Lu must have obtained the devouring demonic art that Su Jing was cultivating and has already started practicing it. In the remote areas of the West, many people have died over the past 2 years. Those young women, in particular, had their essence, qi, and blood devoured, turning them into dried corpses. Zhao Deng said, nowadays, Zhu Lu has become a public enemy of the lower domain. Quasi-third-rate forces, including our Xiankong Mansion, have all sent experts to hunt him down. Everyone is worried that if he continues to cultivate, he will become an existence like that demonic cultivator from years ago who practiced the devouring demonic art. As he continued, Zhao Deng's expression was extremely grave. However, If Zhu Lu intends to hide, your grandfather and the others might not be able to find him. Hall Master Zhu is cultivating the devouring, demonic art. Zhao Ji was greatly shocked. It seems that for the sake of revenge, he really doesn't care about anything anymore. I wonder if the Yinshan Black Market's deputy leader, Feng Bai, will be able to survive under his hands in the future. If Zhu Lu knows how to hide and doesn't reveal himself before his cultivation improves, in a few years, killing Feng Bai will be easier than killing a chicken or cutting grass. Zhao Deng said with great certainty. After all, he is cultivating the devouring, demonic art. In Zhao Deng's words, there was immense reverence for the devouring, demonic art. Of course, while revering the devouring, demonic art, deep apprehension was clearly revealed in his eyes. A few days later, news reached the ears of the father and son, Zhao Deng and Zhao Ji. Ling Tian is leaving Xiankong Mansion alone? Father, is this news true? Zhao Ji looked at Zhao Deng and asked with an excited and agitated expression. Yes. Zhao Deng nodded. Although I don't know where he is going, he is indeed going to leave. It is said that this was heard by a disciple of our Zhao family lineage when he was chatting with Wang Feishuan. Huh. Good. Upon learning that Duan Lingtian was going to leave Xiankong Mansion alone, Zhao Ji's eyes lit up, and he was incomparably excited. In the past, he was no match for Duan Lingtian and could only resign himself to his fate. But now, he was no longer who he used to be. Possessing a human saint realm cultivation, he even had strength no less than that of Gu Li, the former #1 on the Xiankong ranking list. In his view, with his current strength, killing a Lingtian would be as easy as reaching out to grab something. However, that brat from the Gu family has recently been frequently contacting Vice Mansion Masters and some elders who have close relationships with his father, intending to monitor all existences of the human saint realm and above in our Zhao family lineage and not let them leave Xiankong Mansion. Zhao Deng said in a deep voice, I really didn't expect that Lingtian had known Gu Li for such a short time, yet he could make Gu Li work so hard, sparing no effort to use all of his father's connections. He wants to restrict the existences of the human saint realm and above in our Zhao family lineage so they cannot attack Lingtian after he leaves Xiankong Mansion. Monitor all existences of the human saint realm and above in our Zhao family lineage. Hearing Zhao Deng's words, Zhao Ji narrowed his eyes slightly. Father, does that include you? Yes. Zhao Deng nodded, then said with a gloomy expression, by doing this, he undoubtedly expresses a message. After nearly 2 years, that Lingtian's strength has improved significantly, and 9 times out of 10. He is no longer afraid of existences below the human saint realm. It's just a pity that your grandfather is not here. Otherwise, the human saint realm and above experts he could mobilize would not be restricted by the old man of the Gu family's connections at all. Nowadays, with Gu Li doing this, it's not just a matter of whether the human saint realm and above experts of our Zhao family lineage can attack Lingtian. Even leaving Xiankong Mansion has become a problem. As he finished speaking, Zhao Deng's expression grew even gloomier, so gloomy that it seemed as if water could drip from it. Father, the news of my breakthrough to the human saint realm, up to now, I have only revealed to you. You haven't spread it, have you? Zhao Ji asked, a sharp glint in his eyes. No. Zhao Deng subconsciously shook his head in response. But the moment his voice fell, his eyes lit up, and a smile appeared on his gloomy face. Jier, how could I have forgotten about you? You are now in existence at the early human saint realm. Wouldn't killing that Lingtian be easy? Father, you finally remembered me. Zhao Ji laughed. Huh. That Gu Li probably never dreamed that there would be a variable like you. The existences of the human saint realm and above in our Zhao family lineage that he is monitoring are not all that can be mobilized when your grandfather is away. There is still you, whom he hasn't monitored. The smile on Zhao Deng's face grew even brighter. Perhaps in Gu Li's eyes, I am still that insignificant saint realm martial cultivator from nearly 2 years ago. Zhao Ji said with a mocking smile. Isn't that even better? Not only can you deceive his eyes and ears, but you can also take him by surprise. Jier, this time, that Ling Tian is left to you. Didn't you want to kill him personally long ago to wash away the humiliation? Zhao Deng said. Father, rest assured, this time, that Ling Tian will definitely die. Zhao Ji said coldly, a cold glint flashing in his eyes. Father believes in you, waiting for your good news. Zhao Deng nodded. Another few days passed. On the outskirts of the Xian Kong mansion grounds, high in the sky, 3 figures stood on 2 sides. On one side was a handsome young man. On the other side was a sturdy young man and a young woman with peerless beauty. The former was none other than Duan Lingtian. The latter were Gu Li and Wang Feishuan. Are you really going to leave alone? Wang Feishuan said with a worried expression. Those people from the Zhao family lineage are not to be trifled with. I'm afraid that as soon as you leave, they will chase after you and attack. In Xian Kong Mansion, it's difficult for them to attack you, but outside, they won't have any scruples. Don't worry. Senior brother Gu Li has already arranged everything. Duan Lingtian laughed. Junior brother Lingtian, you can rest assured. Within 3 days of your departure, no human saint realm and above existences in the Zhao family lineage that can be driven by Zhao Deng will be able to take even half a step out of Xian Kong Mansion. Gu Li guaranteed with certainty. Originally, he had planned to leave with Duan Lingtian, head to Qingyan Mansion, and then travel together to the Dao Martial Holy Land, Upper Domain. However, he was refused by Duan Lingtian. According to Duan Lingtian, even if Gu Li wanted to leave, he should first greet his father, Gu Xing. Moreover, he estimated that he would stay in Qingyun Mansion for a period of time before heading to the upper domain. It wouldn't be too late for Gu Li to come find him in Qingyun Mansion after Gu Xing returned and he had greeted him. The existences of the human saint stage and above from the Zhao family lineage won't be able to leave the mystical sky mansion. Wang Feixian didn't doubt Gu Li's words. After all, Gu Li was the son of the protector, Gu Xiaiyun, and could enlist the help of many powerful individuals to block the human saint stage and above existences from the Zhao family lineage. However, what surprised her was that Gu Li only prevented the human saint stage and above existences from the Zhao family lineage from leaving the mystical sky mansion. Gu Li's actions undoubtedly conveyed another piece of information. Duan Lingtian was not afraid of existences below the human saint stage. Have you broken through to the saint stage peak? Wang Feixian looked at Duan Lingtian and asked with a look of surprise. The reason she asked this was because Wang Feixian already knew that Duan Lingtian's true origin was extraordinary. A saint stage peak Duan Lingtian could unleash true origin comparable to a great saint stage peak, making his strength no weaker than a great saint stage peak powerhouse. Yes. Duan Lingtian nodded. So fast. Wang Feixian was deeply struck. One had to know that almost 2 years ago, Duan Lingtian's cultivation was the same as hers, both at the saint stage mid. But now, Duan Lingtian had already broken through to the saint stage peak, while she had only touched the threshold of the saint stage late, and her cultivation was still at the saint stage mid. This was truly maddening. This phrase described Wang Feixian's current mood. Fast. Hearing Wang Feixian's words, Duan Lingtian was noncommittal. Although only almost 2 years had passed outside, 7 or 8 years had passed inside the 3rd level of the 7 Treasures Exquisite Pagoda. In Duan Lingtian's opinion, breaking through from the saint stage mid to the saint stage peak in 7 or 8 years was already considered slow. Of course, it wasn't that his talent was lacking. If he had cultivated at a normal speed, he would have already broken through to the great saint stage early. The reason he hadn't broken through was that Old Hua had stopped him in time when he was about to break through. According to Old Hua, he didn't need to rush to break through to the great saint stage. At the saint stage peak, he could absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, convert it into true origin, and integrate it into the pair of golden crow wings hidden within his body, further refining them. After a period of refinement, the golden crow wings would undergo a transformation and become their second form, When he broke through to the Great Saint stage in the future and activated and unleashed the second form of the Golden Crow wings, his speed would be much faster than with the first form of the Golden Crow wings. The optimal time for the Golden Crow wings to transform from the first form to the second form was during the Great Saint stage peak. This was because the true origin of the Great Saint stage peak would not put a burden on the first form of the Golden Crow wings. If it were the power of the human saint stage, it would be much more difficult and extremely risky to make the first form Golden Crow wings transform. This was because the power of the human saint stage would put an immense burden on the first form of the Golden Crow wings, making the refinement process difficult and yielding half the results with twice the effort. Duan Ling Tian naturally had complete faith in Old Hua's words. Therefore, when he reached the critical point between the saint stage peak and the Great Saint stage early, he decisively stopped and did not complete the final breakthrough. At this time, the Sun true origin in his body was comparable to the true origin of a Great Saint stage peak, allowing him to perfectly refine the Golden Crow wings and cause them to transform into their second form. Simply put, the reason Duan Ling Tian wasn't in a hurry to break through to the Great Saint stage was to refine the Golden Crow wings and lay a good foundation for them. According to Old Hua, if I refine the Golden Crow wings to their second form, and then break through to the Great Saint stage early, at that time, my speed when using the Golden Crow wings could even rival a human saint stage late powerhouse. Thinking of this, Duan Ling Tian couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement. One had to know that when he broke through to the Great Saint stage early, his Sun true origin would only be comparable to the power of a human saint stage early. Without the help of other external forces, his strength would also be equivalent to a human saint stage early powerhouse. However, once he unleashed the second form of the Golden Crow wings, his speed would directly rival a human saint stage late powerhouse. This also meant that at that time, even if he faced a human saint stage mid powerhouse, the opponent would not be able to stop him. The refinement of the Golden Crow wings has reached its final stage. It won't be long before they transform into their second form. At that time, I won't need to suppress my cultivation anymore and can directly break through to the Great Saint stage. At this thought, Duan Ling Tian's mood surged again. The Golden Crow wings were a divine ability directly passed down to him by Old Hua. He didn't even need to put in much effort to comprehend and cultivate them, because Old Hua had directly planted the Golden Crow wings within his body. All he needed to do was to make the Golden Crow wings transform from one form to another. Of course, strictly speaking, this also counted as cultivation, just different from the cultivation methods of ordinary divine abilities. Duan Ling Tian was full of anticipation for the Golden Crow wings. Existences below the human saint stage, are you really confident? Wang Feixian was still a little worried. Of course, Duan Ling Tian was full of confidence. Currently, the Sun true origin in his body was no weaker than the true origin of a Great Saint stage peak powerhouse. Coupled with his powerful body and various other advantages, he truly wasn't afraid of anyone below the human saint stage. Of course, if he used the immortal grade supreme treasure, Roseate Immortal Sword, he might even be able to kill an ordinary human saint stage powerhouse. Duan Ling Tian left, watched by Gu Li and Wang Feixian. Only when Duan Ling Tian's back disappeared from their sight did the two retract their gazes. Senior brother Gu Li, do you know where he's going to find his family? Wang Feixian looked at Gu Li and asked. She only knew that Duan Ling Tian was going to reunite with his family, but she knew nothing else. Not only did she not know that Duan Ling Tian's real name was Duan Ling Tian, but she also didn't know that Duan Ling Tian's family was in the Azure Cloud Mansion, nor did she know that Duan Ling Tian's father was the current mansion master of the Azure Cloud Mansion, Duan Ru Feng. I'm not too sure either. Gu Li shook his head. Until he received permission from his junior brother Ling Tian, he would not reveal any information about junior brother Ling Tian, including his true identity and background. After the two separated, Gu Li returned to the main mansion, and Wang Feixian returned to the Heaven Palace. And as the two returned, The mystical sky mansion elders and disciples of the Zhao family lineage were all restless. However, soon, those elders of the Zhao family lineage at the human saint stage and above discovered that they couldn't leave the mystical sky mansion stationed area at all, because they were being watched and blocked. Kong Xiu, why are you blocking my way? An elder of the Zhao family lineage in the mystical sky mansion glared at another mystical sky mansion elder and shouted angrily. Zhao Wei, I was entrusted by someone not to let you leave the mystical sky mansion for half a step for the next 3 days. If you insist on leaving, then defeat me first. Facing Zhao Wei's angry questioning, Kong Xiu said indifferently. Kong Xiu, though not a direct disciple of the Gu family lineage, had received a favor from the protector, Gu Xiaoyun, when he was young, and had always been very grateful to Gu Xiaoyun. Therefore, facing the request of Gu Li, Gu Xiaoyun's son, he naturally felt it was his responsibility. Zhao Wei's face was extremely gloomy, because he knew his own limits and knew that he was not Kong Xiu's opponent. At the same time, similar scenes were playing out in various parts of the mystical sky mansion's stationed area. The powerhouses watching every elder of the Zhao family lineage at the human saint stage and above were all existences slightly stronger than the people they were watching, completely restricting the other party. Vice Mansion Master Zhao. Even Vice Mansion Master Zhao Deng was stopped by someone when he tried to leave. The person who stopped him was the master of the Yellow Hall, Qian Pingsheng. Hall Master Qian, that Gu Li actually managed to invite you? Seeing that it was Qian Pingsheng, the master of the Yellow Hall, who was stopping him, Zhao Deng's face immediately darkened, and a look of disbelief appeared in his eyes. Simply because he had never expected that the one stopping him from leaving the mystical sky mansion stationed area would be Qian Pingsheng, the master of the Yellow Hall. One had to know that within the mystical sky mansion, the 4 hall masters all acted independently and belonged neither to the Zhao family lineage nor the Gu family lineage. I owe Protector Gu a favor. Qian Pingsheng's answer was very simple. Vice Mansion Master Zhao, I don't want to fight you. 3 days, after 3 days, no matter where you want to go. I won't stop you. Humph. Zhao Deng snorted coldly and decisively turned to return to his residence, because he knew very well that with Qian Pingsheng blocking him, he couldn't possibly leave the mystical sky mansion stationed area. Gu Li, you probably never dreamed that my son is already in existence at the human saint stage early. As he turned back, a sneer appeared on Zhao Deng's lips, sneering at Gu Li for being too naive, thinking that blocking the human saint stage powerhouses of their Zhao family lineage on the surface would solve everything. Little did he know, their Zhao family lineage still had a trump card. At this moment, Zhi'er should have already left the mystical sky mansion and gone after that Duan Ling Tian, right? Thinking of this, a cold light flashed in Zhao Deng's eyes. Duan Ling Tian, your good days are over. Just as Zhao Deng thought, Gu Li never dreamed that Zhao Ji, who was only at the saint stage mid almost 2 years ago, had already broken through to the human saint stage in less than 2 years. If he had known, he would have personally gone to keep an eye on Zhao Ji. It was precisely because no one knew that Zhao Ji was already a human saint stage powerhouse that he left the mystical sky mansion unimpeded. In front of Zhao Ji, many well-known mystical sky mansion disciples of the Zhao family lineage on the mystical sky ranking had already set off, chasing after Duan Ling Tian. These people were all confident in their strength, and all were existences at the great saint stage mid and above. Almost 2 years ago, outside the life and death hall of the Heaven Palace, Duan Ling Tian killed Zhao Kuan with his great saint stage mid strength, which also made those mystical sky mansion disciples of the Zhao family lineage whose strength was below the great saint stage mid give up the idea of attacking him. What a joke. Existences at the great saint stage mid were simply not something they could contend with. Among the group of mystical sky mansion disciples of the Zhao family lineage chasing Duan Ling Tian, Zhao Dong, ranked 5th on the mystical sky ranking, was prominently among them. This Zhao Dong was also the mystical sky mansion disciple of the Zhao family lineage who had been taught a lesson by Gu Li a few days ago, when Gu Li came to find Duan Ling Tian. Some time ago, Zhao Dong had already broken through to the Great Saint Stage peak, and his strength was considerable. Ling Tian. Zhao Dong took the lead, being the first to catch up with Duan Ling Tian, blocking his path. As soon as he left the mystical sky mansion, Duan Ling Tian noticed a long tail following him. If he traveled at full speed, these tails naturally wouldn't be able to catch him. However, Duan Ling Tian had no intention of doing so. He knew perfectly well what the group of people following him wanted to do. They simply wanted to kill him. Since that was the case, he would grant them their wish and give them a chance. So, after leaving the mystical sky mansion, he deliberately slowed down. The human saint stage and above experts from the Zhao family lineage were restricted by those found by Gu Li, so he wasn't worried about encountering any troublesome figures. I recognize you, you're Zhao Dong, ranked 5th on the mystical sky ranking. But wasn't being thrown around once not enough? Still haven't learned your lesson. After Zhao Dong blocked his path, Duan Ling Tian recognized him at first glance. A few days ago, at the entrance of his courtyard, Gu Li effortlessly overturned a group of mystical sky mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage who were monitoring him, and Zhao Dong was among them. Later, it was only because Duan Ling Tian didn't pursue the matter that Gu Li didn't take further action. Duan Ling Tian didn't expect that after only a few days, this Zhao Dong would come to stop him again, clearly not taking that day's events to heart, showing he hadn't learned his lesson. Duan Ling Tian, what are you so proud of? Today, Gu Li isn't by your side. Faced with Duan Ling Tian's mockery, Zhao Dong also remembered the humiliation he suffered in front of Gu Li a few days ago, and immediately became enraged out of embarrassment. What? Do you think you can do whatever you want just because senior brother Gu Li isn't by my side? Duan Ling Tian's mocking smile didn't diminish but intensified, his eyes revealing a hint of disdain. Naked disdain. You're asking for death. Faced with Duan Ling Tian's disdain, Zhao Dong could no longer restrain himself. He roared, and his body moved like lightning, like a cannonball fired from a barrel, rapidly blasting towards Duan Ling Tian. Boom, boom, boom. Zhao Dong's speed was as swift as wind and thunder, and wherever he passed, explosive sounds rang out one after another, and ripples of waves spread outwards in the void. The ripples spread, stirring up rolling waves of air. The air waves spread out, turning into gusts of wind, making the robes of the group of mystical sky mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage, who had just arrived nearby, flap loudly. Hurry! Don't let Zhao Dong get ahead. Kill Duan Ling Tian. As long as he's killed, I can become the foster son of the protector, an existence on par with the Vice Hall Master. Kill him. Seeing Zhao Dong launch an attack on Duan Ling Tian without any warning, the group of mystical sky mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage who arrived later all changed their expressions. Immediately after, amidst shouts, they swarmed forward like a hive of bees, as if fearing that if they acted too slowly, they wouldn't even get a sip of the soup. Of course, there were also some mystical sky mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage who reacted slower and followed behind. These people, without exception, were all Great Saint Stage mid-existences with weaker strength. Before they could catch up with the others, they stopped midway, each staring dumbfounded at the scene unfolding before them, their bodies feeling as if they were filled with lead, unable to move an inch. A bunch of rabble. Not far away, Duan Ling Tian calmly uttered a sentence. As soon as his voice fell, brilliant and dazzling vast true essence surged from his body, like the dazzling true essence of a blazing sun, instantly transforming into 100 golden sword beams that swept out in all directions, launching an indiscriminate attack. And in this indiscriminate attack, except for Zhao Dong who managed to evade in embarrassment, the group of Great Saint Stage late mystical sky mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage who rushed forward were unable to evade, and were one by one pierced through their bodies by the golden sword beams, which swept in like blazing suns, turning them into hornets' nests. He also broke through to the Great Saint Stage peak. Although he dodged Duan Ling Tian's attack, Zhao Dong was still somewhat shaken, and his face changed dramatically at the same time. As a great Saint Stage peak martial artist, although he had only broken through a few days ago, he could still clearly perceive that the true essence of this Duan Ling Tian was of the same level as his own, both being Great Saint Stage Peak True Essence. Although they were both Great Saint Stage Peak True Essence, the speed at which this Duan Ling Tian mobilized his true essence, and his control over it, were beyond what he could achieve. In addition, the 100 sword beams that shot out from Duan Ling Tian just now, though seemingly chaotic, were in fact extremely brilliant sword moves. At least, the martial arts techniques he had mastered were far from being so brilliant. At this moment, Zhao Dong also clearly realized that although he and Duan Ling Tian were both Great Saint Stage peak martial artists, he was far from being a match for this Duan Ling Tian. With this Duan Ling Tian strength, even among all the Great Saint Stage peak powerhouses in the lower domain of the Dao Martial Saint Land, he was a top-tier elite. In the distance, the mystical Sky Mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage, who were slower and hadn't moved forward in time, turned pale with fright. At this moment, they all felt somewhat fortunate. Fortunately, they hadn't broken through to the Great Saint Stage late yet. Otherwise, the fate of the group of people who were turned into hornets' nests before them would also be their fate. Boom. 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 As the bodies of the group of Great Saint Stage late mystical Sky Mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage fell to the ground, the remaining mystical Sky Mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage all came back to their senses, and when they looked at Duan Ling Tian again, their eyes were filled with terror. Even Zhao Dong was the same. The current Zhao Dong had lost his previous arrogance, and his gaze towards Duan Ling Tian was filled with fear and unease. Although they were both Great Saint Stage peak martial artists, the strength that Duan Ling Tian displayed made him unable to muster any will to fight, because Duan Ling Tian's strength was simply beyond his ability to contend with. Even if he was also a Great Saint Stage peak martial artist. Great Saint Stage peak martial artists are also divided into different grades. If Duan Ling Tian was 3rd grade, then he was 9th grade, completely incomparable to the former. Zhao Dong, didn't you say I was asking for death? Why aren't you moving? After a while, Duan Ling Tian calmly glanced at Zhao Dong, being the first to break the silence in the air. Upon hearing this, Zhao Dong also recalled his previous arrogance, and immediately flushed crimson, feeling that his actions just now were so ridiculous, actually thinking that this Duan Ling Tian was someone he could trample on at will. Seeing Zhao Dong not react, a cold light flashed in Duan Ling Tian's eyes, revealing a chilling murderous intent. Seeing the murderous intent flash in Duan Ling Tian's eyes, Zhao Dong's face changed dramatically, and with a panicked look in his eyes, he said, "Duan Ling Tian, I was blind. Please just let me go, treat me like a fart. I promise, I will never be your enemy again, I promise. Really, I promise." Towards the end of his plea, seeing that the murderous intent in Duan Ling Tian's eyes showed no sign of fading, Zhao Dong lowered his body, actually kneeling in midair, frantically begging Duan Ling Tian for mercy. "Duan Ling Tian, please spare me this one time. Please. I beg you." Seeing Zhao Dong so spineless, many mystical Sky Mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage showed disdain in their eyes. Of course, a few also understood Zhao Dong's actions, thinking that it was understandable for Zhao Dong to do so to save his life. Humph. Facing Zhao Dong, who seemed like a changed person, Duan Ling Tian's eyes showed deep disgust. With a lift of his hand, a brilliant golden sword beam shot out, like a blazing sun streaking across the sky, sweeping towards Zhao Dong's location. Although Zhao Dong was kneeling, he remained vigilant. As soon as Duan Ling Tian made his move, he noticed it and immediately moved to block it. However, Zhao Dong, who had only broken through to the Great Saint Stage peak a few days ago and couldn't even perfectly control his true essence, how could he possibly withstand Duan Ling Tian's attack? The sword beam, like a blazing sun, first shattered Zhao Dong's attack, then continued its momentum unabated, merging into Zhao Dong's body, piercing through him with a whoosh, bringing forth a shower of blood, like blooming red roses in the air, dazzling and eye-catching. You? Zhao Dong's body trembled violently, blood gushing from his chest, his face pale. He trembled as he reached out to point at Duan Ling Tian, but before his hand could straighten, he completely breathed his last. Dead. Even Zhao Dong, a great Saint Stage Peak expert, was dead. The remaining group of mystical Sky Mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage turned pale, but not a single one fled. No one wanted to be the early bird. Early birds generally don't live long. They were not reckless, so they naturally understood this principle. As they looked at Duan Ling Tian nervously, waiting for Duan Ling Tian's judgment, Duan Ling Tian, who had finished clearing the battlefield and collecting the spoils, merely glanced at them indifferently, then continued on his way. He just left like that. Watching Duan Ling Tian's back gradually disappear, a mystical Sky Mansion disciple from the Zhao family lineage, who was scared into a cold sweat, muttered, "Otherwise, do you still hope he attacks us?" Another mystical Sky Mansion disciple from the Zhao family lineage asked back with a pale face. Fortunately, our cultivation was lower, and our speed was therefore a bit slower. Otherwise, it wouldn't just be them lying on the ground now. Yet another mystical Sky Mansion disciple from the Zhao family lineage glanced at the scattered corpses, saying with lingering fear. Hearing his words, the others also expressed agreement with lingering fear. Duan Ling Tian did this. Just then, a voice came, startling the group of mystical Sky Mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage present. At first, they thought Duan Ling Tian had returned, but only after turning their heads to look did they confirm that it wasn't Duan Ling Tian who had returned, but their junior brother who had arrived. I'm asking you. Seeing that the group of mystical Sky Mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage didn't respond for a long time after hearing his question, Zhao Ji's face immediately darkened, and he spoke again. He had just arrived and saw the corpses scattered everywhere. Those corpses, to him, were all familiar faces, because they were all people from their Zhao family lineage. He did it. That Duan Ling Tian is a monster. In less than 2 years, he actually has the strength of the great Saint Stage Peak. The group of mystical Sky Mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage all spoke, their voices filled with terror. Peak Great Saint Realm? Hearing the words of the group of Xian Kong Mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage, Zhao Ji narrowed his eyes. While filled with shock, he also felt a bit of relief. Fortunately, I have already stepped into the human saint realm. Otherwise, I might not have been able to kill that Duan Ling Tian today. Whoosh. Under the gaze of the group of Xian Kong Mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage, Zhao Ji's figure flickered and vanished into thin air before their eyes. Of course, he didn't truly disappear. His speed had simply reached a certain level, making it appear as though he had vanished into thin air. Junior brother's speed. For a moment, these Xian Kong Mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage looked at each other, seeing shock and disbelief in each other's eyes. Although these survivors were only at the middle stage Great Saint Realm, even if a peak Great Saint Realm expert were to display their speed without reservation, it would be impossible to disappear into thin air before their eyes. The only ones capable of disappearing into thin air like ghosts are powerful existences at the human saint realm or above. Of course, there is another possibility, the use of a Dao talisman. Among Dao talismans, there are some advanced escape-type Dao talismans. Once used, disappearing into thin air under the noses of a group of Great Saint Realm martial cultivators and Dao cultivators is not difficult. I knew that the Protector and the Vice Mansion Master doted on Junior Brother very much. Seeing it today, it is indeed true. The escape-type Dao Talisman Junior Brother used just now must have been given to him by the Protector or the Vice Mansion Master. To be able to make him disappear into thin air, it must be a very advanced Dao Talisman. To use such an advanced escape-type Dao Talisman so casually. Junior Brother is truly wealthy and imposing. People are different. Why is it that junior brother is born with all the favor, with everything prepared for him? While looking at us, we have had to rely on ourselves every step of the way. The group of Xian Kong Mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage, from beginning to end, never thought of Zhao Ji as a Saint Realm expert. This was only because, as members of the Zhao family lineage, they all understood Zhao Ji's background. Although Zhao Ji's talent was not bad, in their view, Zhao Ji had at most broken through to the late-stage Great Saint Realm, let alone the human Saint Realm. They didn't even dare to think of the Great Saint Realm, because that was something they subconsciously felt was impossible. If Zhao Ji had not cultivated the devouring, demonic art, perhaps it would be as the group of Xian Kong Mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage thought. Unfortunately, Zhao Ji had cultivated the devouring, demonic art. After devouring the essence, qi, and blood of a large number of young women, his cultivation had already stepped into the early human saint realm. In the distant lands ahead, Duan Lingtian continued his journey. This time, he did not deliberately suppress the solar true essence within his body and traveled at full speed. His speed, comparable to a peak Great Saint Realm expert, made him look like a cannonball breaking through the air. Everywhere he passed, clouds and airflow retreated. Looking from afar, it was as if he had carved out a heavenly road heading south. The Qingyan mansion base was in the southern direction. When did I start? Having compassion for those who want to kill me. Thinking of the scene just now, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but laugh at himself. Previously, he could have completely waited for the middle-stage Great Saint Realm disciples of the Zhao family lineage to get close before taking action to wipe everyone out. However, the moment the late-stage Great Saint Realm disciples of the Zhao family lineage pounced, even he didn't know why, but he felt a sense of compassion and struck first, wiping out the group of late-stage Great Saint Realm disciples of the Zhao family lineage who had pounced. As for that group of middle-stage Great Saint Realm Zhao family lineage disciples, he only used deterrence as a warning and did not take action against them. If it were the old him, he would not have left any survivors among those who wanted his life. Could it be, because I am about to reunite with father and mother, and I am in a good mood, that I unknowingly felt compassion for them? In the end, Duan Lingtian could only offer such an explanation. Whoosh! Suddenly, a thunder-like sound of breaking air came from behind Duan Lingtian. Judging by the sound, it was getting closer and closer. Such fast speed. Duan Lingtian, who was traveling at full speed with solar true essence, heard the sound of breaking air getting closer behind him, and his expression changed instantly. One must know that his current speed, even among all peak Great Saint Realm experts, was already quite fast, and the speed of the person chasing from behind was clearly a level higher than his. Human Saint Realm expert. Duan Lingtian guessed who was chasing him immediately. Only a powerful existence at the human saint realm or above could be this fast. Did senior brother Gu Li not find someone to restrict the existences at the heavenly saint realm or above in the Zhao family lineage? How is there still a fish that slipped through the net? Duan Lingtian's expression sank slightly, but he was not panicked. Because he discovered that although the speed of the person chasing from behind was fast, it had not reached a level he could not accept. If I am not mistaken, the person chasing from behind is, 9 times out of 10, an existence at the early human saint realm. At this thought, Duan Lingtian calmed down. If he did not have the Gui Xian sword, he might have been somewhat wary of an early human saint realm existence. However, with the Gui Xian sword, even against an early human saint realm existence, he had the confidence to kill. Of course, because there is a chasm-like watershed between the human saint realm and the great saint realm, even using the Gui Xian sword, he would need to trigger at least 50% of the solar true essence in his body to kill an early human saint realm existence. If there were 3 or more early human saint realm experts, it might be a bit tricky. Now, devilish chi? This early human saint realm expert is a devilish cultivator. As the person chasing from behind got closer and closer to Duan Lingtian clearly sensed an oppressive aura surging from behind. At the same time, The demon sealing steel in his storage ring began to tremble for no reason, which made him react immediately. The early human Saint Realm expert chasing from behind was a devilish cultivator. After confirming that the person chasing from behind was a devilish cultivator, the corners of Duan Lingtian's mouth couldn't help but curl into a smile. If the opponent were not a devilish cultivator, he would have had to expend more than 50% of the solar true essence in his body and use the Gui Xian sword to kill him. But now, confirming that the opponent was a devilish cultivator, he didn't even need to use the Gui Xian sword. With his current solar true essence, which was comparable to the true essence of a peak Great Saint Realm expert, triggering the demon sealing steel could kill any devilish cultivator below the Saint Realm. I want to see who this unlucky guy is. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian stopped his movement, and at the same time, turned around to look into the distance. In the distance, a figure permeated with vast devilish qi was rushing towards Duan Lingtian at an extremely fast speed. The speed was so fast that even Duan Lingtian could only see an afterimage. Eerie Eye. After activating the Eerie Eye, the figure of the person coming became clear, and Duan Lingtian's gaze fell on the face of the person coming. Just one glance, and Duan Lingtian was stunned. Duan Lingtian. It seems you already know that you have nowhere to run. With a cold voice, the early human Saint Realm expert who was chasing stood not far in front of Duan Lingtian. It's actually you. The reason Duan Lingtian was stunned was that he recognized this early human Saint Realm expert who was chasing him. The other party was actually an acquaintance of his. Before this, he never dreamed that the early human Saint Realm expert who came to chase him would be this person. Zhao Ji. The grandson of Zhao Jin, one of the two protectors of the Xiankong Mansion, and the son of Zhao Deng, the vice mansion master of the Xiankong Mansion. Duan Lingtian still remembered that nearly 2 years ago, this Zhao Ji was only a middle-stage Saint Realm martial cultivator. Now, less than 2 years later, his cultivation had actually stepped into the early human Saint Realm, and he had also converted to a devilish cultivator. Such an exaggerated cultivation speed, even with the vast experience he had gained along the way, made him unable to help but be shocked. Ha ha ha. Duan Lingtian, you didn't expect it to be me, right? Seeing Duan Lingtian's shocked expression, Zhao Ji felt a sense of delight in his heart, feeling quite triumphant. In less than 2 years, you actually broke through from the middle stage Saint Realm to the early human Saint Realm. It seems that during this time, you have also had quite an encounter. After a long while, Duan Lingtian took a deep breath, regained his senses, and the shock on his face disappeared, replaced by indifference. Duan Lingtian, I, Zhao Ji, have been waiting for this day for a long time. Today, let me settle the score with you properly. Zhao Ji's eyes flashed with a blood-red color, and his stern voice sounded somewhat hysterical later on. He remembered the scene on the peak of the Heavenly Hall where Duan Lingtian slapped him twice in public to humiliate him. He remembered the scene in the Sacred Martial Secret Realm where he had only stayed for 3 days before being kicked out by Duan Lingtian. Anger filled Zhao Ji's chest, reaching the critical point of eruption. Settle the score? Facing Zhao Ji's hysteria, Duan Lingtian's face remained indifferent. How do you want to settle it? How else? Naturally, by making you die? However, don't worry, I won't let you die so easily. I will slowly torture you, cut you into 1,000 pieces, and let you bleed to your last drop of blood. Zhao Ji's eyes were red, crazy, and paranoid. Make me die? Don't say I look down on you. Do you have that ability? Duan Lingtian sneered. He did not regret the things he had done to Zhao Ji back then. If it weren't for Zhao Ji being aggressive and bullying others, he wouldn't have bothered with Zhao Ji. There were so many people in the Xiankong Mansion. He, Duan Lingtian, could not possibly target Zhao Ji alone, could he? Therefore, he did not regret the things he had done in the past. Duan Lingtian, you are still as arrogant as before. You also said it yourself. I am now at the early human Saint Realm, early human Saint Realm. For me, an existence at the early human Saint Realm, to kill you, a peak Great Saint Realm martial cultivator, Isn't that easy and simple? As Zhao Ji sneered, the power permeating his body became even more majestic, and the devilish chi soared into the sky. In less than 2 years, you broke through from the saint realm to the early human saint realm, and you even cultivated as a demonic cultivator. Zhao Ji, you didn't cultivate the devouring demonic art, did you? A thought flashed through Duan Ling Tian's mind, and he looked at Zhao Ji with a teasing expression, asking, http://www.lnw6e.net please search, pin #Shuyuan, for the most complete, the fastest updated novel. Upon hearing Duan Ling Tian's words, the soaring demonic energy around Zhao Ji paused noticeably. Then, without any intention of hiding, he candidly replied, "What if I did?" It really is. Duan Ling Tian was greatly surprised by Zhao Ji's confirmation. He had just said it casually. After all, the Dao Martial Saint Land's lower province was vast and full of surprises, so encountering anything was quite common. But Zhao Ji's current words undoubtedly admitted that he had cultivated the devouring demonic art. Anyway, you're going to die today, so there's no harm in telling you. Su Jing, the young mansion master of Chongshao Mansion, and Zhu Lu, our former Sky Palace master of Xiankong Mansion, were introduced by me. Not only did Zhu Lu get the devouring demonic art, but I did too. In Zhao Ji's opinion, Duan Ling Tian had no chance of survival today, so he spoke freely, not worried at all that Duan Ling Tian would spread this information. So that's how it is. Hearing Zhao Ji's words, Duan Ling Tian suddenly understood. So, in the past 2 years, the disturbances in the remote areas of the western region, those young women who were drained into mummies, weren't just the masterpiece of Palace Master Zhu? No harm in telling you. Those young women, Zhu Lu and I together drained them into mummies. However, unlike Zhu Lu, he never touches virgins, while I love virgins the most, because devouring the essence and blood of virgins makes my cultivation progress even faster. Towards the end, Zhao Ji licked his dry lips with a lingering desire, his eyes gleaming like a hungry wolf. Beast! Duan Ling Tian's face darkened. You cultivate the devouring demonic art. Aren't you afraid of becoming a public enemy? The public enemy is Zhu Lu. As for me, in others' eyes, I'm just someone lucky enough to have inherited an ancient demonic beast's legacy. Zhao Ji smiled triumphantly. Aren't you afraid I'll spread this news? Duan Ling Tian asked, a cold glint in his eyes. Spread it? You'd have to survive today first. Zhao Ji sneered disdainfully. Ling Tian, your talent is indeed very strong. If you can grow smoothly, you could become a peerless prodigy even in the Dao Martial Saint Land's upper province in the future. It's just a pity that you shouldn't have made an enemy of me, Zhao Ji. You destroyed yourself. Zhao Ji spoke with such certainty, as if he had completely cornered Duan Ling Tian. If you want me to die, you'll have to see if you have the ability. Seeing Zhao Ji's audacious words, Duan Ling Tian narrowed his eyes into a slit and said in a cold voice, Don't worry, I said I wouldn't kill you quickly. I'll slowly play with you until you die. Zhao Ji's tone grew colder, and the demonic energy around him surged even more violently. Suddenly, accompanied by an earth-shattering air explosion in the void, Zhao Ji, enveloped in demonic energy, transformed into a peerless demonic god, appearing before Duan Ling Tian in an instant. Boom! He threw a punch, like a collapsing mountain, heavily enveloping Duan Ling Tian. The attack, like Mount Tai pressing down, naturally put considerable pressure on Duan Ling Tian. Whoosh! 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 As a series of sword cries rang out, a golden sword light barrier, precisely the Taiyin sword bell, formed around Duan Ling Tian. In addition, a large portion of sword light swept towards Zhao Ji's raging, power-surging punch. A mantis trying to stop a chariot. Break! Zhao Ji roared. The power of his fist instantly surged by several points, easily crushing Duan Ling Tian's attack and continuing to sweep towards him. Such powerful strength. At this moment, Duan Ling Tian deeply felt the immense power of the early human saint realm, which he could not currently contend with. At least, without using the Rose Immortal Sword and the Demon Sealing Tablet, he was no match for Zhao Ji. Whoosh. Precisely because of this, after a brief probing, facing Zhao Ji's fierce punch, Duan Ling Tian chose to evade. However, though he was fast, the speed of Zhao Ji's fist was even faster. Bang! Although Zhao Ji's fist didn't precisely strike Duan Ling Tian's body, it still touched the tie-in sword bell that had risen from his body. In an instant, the tie-in sword bell was crushed into fragments, without even time to buffer. With the tie-in sword bell shattered, Duan Ling Tian naturally suffered a backlash, and combined with the residual force of Zhao Ji's punch landing on him, he was immediately sent flying. He flew out like an arrow from a bowstring, and only managed to steady himself after flying 100 meters, but his internal qi and blood still churned, and his internal organs suffered minor injuries to varying degrees. This was also because his physical body was inherently strong. If it had been an ordinary Great Saint Realm peak martial artist, facing Zhao Ji's lightning-fast punch, it would definitely not have been as simple as minor injuries. When he discovered that Duan Ling Tian had only suffered minor injuries, Zhao Ji was also a bit surprised. Although his punch just now didn't directly hit Duan Ling Tian's body, the power that swept towards Duan Ling Tian was still considerable. Logically, even if Duan Ling Tian didn't die, he should have been severely injured. However, from the current situation, his punch only caused minor injuries to Duan Ling Tian. This is good too. I can play with him a little longer. Zhao Ji grinned. A triumphant smile, clearly having already regarded Duan Ling Tian as fish on his chopping board. Ling Tian, this little bit of strength? You really disappoint me. At the same time, Zhao Ji didn't forget to provoke Duan Ling Tian with a disdainful look, an arrogant expression of superiority appearing between his brows. Zhao Ji. Facing Zhao Ji's provocation, Duan Ling Tian, having recovered, was not provoked. Instead, he said calmly, "Since you've been so honest with me and told me everything, I think I shouldn't hide too much from you either, because that would be truly unfair to you." Speaking of this, under Zhao Ji's gaze, Duan Ling Tian raised his hand and took out a stone tablet. This stone tablet was missing a corner, but on its surface, numerous characters were densely carved. These characters were obscure and difficult to understand. Duan Ling Tian didn't recognize a single one. At this moment, the stone tablet in Duan Ling Tian's hand trembled violently, as if it desperately wanted to break free from his control. This is... Zhao Ji didn't know why, but when Duan Ling Tian took out the chipped stone tablet, an inexplicable sense of panic rose in his heart. This feeling made him very uncomfortable, but he couldn't show it in front of Duan Ling Tian. However, then, Zhao Ji's attention shifted elsewhere. He clearly saw that the face of Ling Tian, whom he hated to the bone, suddenly twisted, and then transformed into another handsome face. A little familiar. When he saw this handsome face, an inexplicable thought popped into Zhao Ji's mind. In his memory, it seemed he had indeed seen this face somewhere before, but he couldn't recall it for a moment. Actually, Ling Tian is just my given name. My surname isn't Ling, it's Duan. Immediately after, Duan Ling Tian's words reached Zhao Ji's ears. Ling Tian is just a given name? Not surnamed Ling? Surnamed Duan. Why are you telling me this? Hearing Duan Ling Tian's words, Zhao Ji subconsciously spoke. But before he could finish, he seemed to realize something. His pupils suddenly contracted, and he muttered in horror, "Duan Ling Tian? Duan Ling Tian. Isn't that the guy who was rumored to have obtained the demon sealing tablet back then? I remember now." At the same time, when Zhao Ji looked at Duan Ling Tian again, he recognized Duan Ling Tian's current face. This face is exactly the same as the portrait that was widely circulated in the Dao Martial Saint Land's lower province back then. And the person in that portrait is precisely Duan Ling Tian, who was rumored to have obtained the demon sealing tablet in the lower province. You? You are Duan Ling Tian. After finally regaining his composure, when Zhao Ji looked at Duan Ling Tian again, he looked as if he had seen a ghost. Before Duan Ling Tian could respond, his gaze, as if by some strange impulse, fell on the chipped stone tablet in Duan Ling Tian's hand, and a horrifying thought couldn't help but surface in his mind. He is Duan Ling Tian. Then, this incomplete stone tablet that makes my heart palpitate, could it be one of the 10 super saint weapons on the top 10 saint weapons list, the Demon Sealing Tablet? The Demon Sealing Tablet, one of the 10 super saint weapons on the top 10 divine weapons list, allows anyone who obtains it to kill a demonic cultivator one major realm higher than themselves. He is at the peak of the Great Saint Realm. So, with the Demon Sealing Tablet, he can kill all demonic cultivators below the Saint Realm. Thinking of this, Zhao Ji's pupils constricted, and his heart almost leaped out of his chest in fright. He felt as if fate was playing a huge joke on him. He cultivated the devouring demonic art, and his cultivation finally entered the human Saint Realm, surpassing Ling Tian, whom he hated to the bone. And now, just as he was about to get his revenge, the other party took out a super saint weapon like the Demon Sealing Tablet. Could it be that this Duan Ling Tian was sent by heaven specifically to counter me? Zhao Ji's heart was filled with shame and indignation. At that moment, he felt a sense of, if there is Zhou Yu, why must there be Zhuge Liang? Seeing Zhao Ji's expression change drastically after his gaze fell on the Demon Sealing Tablet in his hand, eventually becoming incredibly ugly, Duan Ling Tian naturally guessed that Zhao Ji had recognized the Demon Sealing Tablet, and couldn't help but ask teasingly, "What? You recognized it? Why aren't you speaking? Just now, weren't you constantly saying you would slowly torture me to death? Weren't you saying you would cut me into 1,000 pieces?" Duan Ling Tian scoffed. As Duan Ling Tian took out the Demon Sealing Tablet and revealed his identity, the situation on the scene underwent a dramatic change. Zhao Ji, who had originally held all the advantages, now showed fear and panic. No. Impossible. How could it be such a coincidence? How could this Ling Tian be that Duan Ling Tian? Zhao Ji found this fact hard to accept. Because if the Ling Tian before him really was that Duan Ling Tian, then the chipped stone tablet in Ling Tian's hand was the Demon Sealing Steel, one of the 10 super sacred artifacts on the top 10 sacred artifact ranking. With Ling Tian's strength, by using the Demon Sealing Steel, he could suppress even a demonic cultivator at the peak human saint realm. Whereas he was only a demonic cultivator at the early human saint realm. At this moment, Zhao Ji desperately wished that all of this was just Ling Tian deceiving him, but the palpitating feeling the chipped stone tablet in Ling Tian's hand gave him was real. It wasn't some psychological effect. It's over. Glancing indifferently at Zhao Ji, Duan Ling Tian, who had no intention of wasting more words on him, thought to himself. Whoosh. Simultaneously, with a lift of his hand, Duan Ling Tian swung the Demon Sealing Steel, as the solar true essence within his body surged out and merged into it. In an instant, the Demon Sealing Steel trembled even more violently. Streams of profound black mist emerged from within the Demon Sealing Steel, coiling around it. Finally, they solidified into streaks of black lightning, invisibly instilling a heart-pounding sensation. When the aura of the Demon Sealing Steel emanated, even someone who wasn't a demonic cultivator would feel their heart race, let alone a demonic cultivator who was specifically countered by it. As Duan Ling Tian channeled his true essence into the Demon Sealing Steel, Zhao Ji found himself locked onto by an incredibly terrifying presence. Before this presence, he couldn't even summon the thought of resisting. Furthermore, under the lock of this presence, he found that the power within his body had stagnated significantly. No matter how he tried to circulate it, it was useless. No. Zhao Ji was afraid. Completely terrified. At this moment, he was 100% certain that the unremarkable chipped stone tablet in Ling Tian's hand was undoubtedly the Demon Sealing Steel. If it weren't the Demon Sealing Steel, it would be impossible to suppress him like this. And Ling Tian's true identity was indeed that Duan Ling Tian. Duan Ling Tian, it's all my fault, all my fault. I shouldn't have been so arrogant. I shouldn't have used someone else's influence to bully others. You were right to hit me, you were right. It was also right for you to kick me out of the sacred martial secret realm. I deserved to be kicked out, I deserved it. As long as you don't kill me, I won't expose your identity, I won't hold a grudge against you in the future, and I won't seek revenge. I can swear a thunder punishment oath. Really, I can swear a thunder punishment oath. Spare me. I beg you, spare me. Facing Duan Lingtian, who had raised the demon sealing steel and could smash it down at any moment, no matter how much Zhao Ji hated him, he softened at this moment. If he didn't yield and the demon sealing steel smashed down, he would surely die. Faced with a choice between life and death, Zhao Ji, who valued his own life above all else, now had only one thought: to survive. As for anything else, it was no longer important. Now, even if Zhao Ji were told to kill his own father and grandfather, as long as he could survive, he would do it. Under the suppression of the demon sealing steel, even this soul-gathering technique recorded in the devouring demonic art he cultivated was useless, because the demon sealing steel primarily targeted the soul. Once it attacked a demonic cultivator, the first thing it did was crush their soul. Against an attack from the demon sealing steel, the soul-gathering technique was practically non-existent. However, facing Zhao Ji's active plea for mercy and yielding, Duan Lingtian simply ignored him and, without a word, smashed the demon sealing steel he held towards Zhao Ji. Boom. As soon as the demon sealing steel was thrown, the void trembled, ripples like waves spread out, and a vast airwave surged forth. The surrounding clouds and mist were completely dispersed as if something had exploded. Swoosh. Wherever the demon sealing steel passed, the sound of wind and thunder followed, and in the blink of an eye, it had already reached Zhao Ji's vicinity. No. At this moment, the despair-filled Zhao Ji only had time to let out a silent scream in his heart. After swinging and throwing the demon sealing steel, Duan Lingtian watched coldly from the side. In his view, using his solar true essence to power the demon sealing steel to kill Zhao Ji was a very simple matter. There was no suspense about Zhao Ji's death. Rumble. However, just as the demon sealing steel flew to a point not far in front of Zhao Ji and was about to kill him, a loud bang suddenly rang out from the void. Accompanying the loud bang was an even more vast, sky-piercing, devilish chi. Who is it? Hearing this loud bang and feeling this powerful devilish chi, Duan Lingtian immediately took out the Gui Xian sword and looked warily toward the horizon. That loud bang was caused by a force surging from that direction, breaking through the air. That force was extremely powerful and contained astonishing devilish chi. It was clearly a powerful demonic cultivator hidden in the shadows making a move. Swoosh. At the same time, the demon sealing steel, which was only inches away from Zhao Ji and about to kill him, seemed to have sensed something and paused in the void, as if inertia simply didn't exist for it. However, after that brief pause, it did not change targets. It remained locked onto Zhao Ji and continued to charge at him. And in that flash of lightning, under Duan Lingtian's gaze, a slender figure appeared in his vision like a bolt of lightning. As soon as the figure appeared, it charged toward him at the fastest speed with aggressive intent. It's her. In Duan Lingtian's vision, the slender figure rapidly enlarged, and at the same time, the person's true face clearly entered his eyes. Duan Lingtian never expected that he would see this woman here. Although her appearance had changed slightly after several years, he still recognized her at a glance. This woman was none other than the ill-mannered young miss he had encountered in the Nine Sects Alliance region years ago, the young miss of the Ouyang family in Hana City, Ouyang Rua. Because of this Ouyang Rua, he had later developed a significant conflict with the Ouyang family. However, he had later heard that the Ouyang family had been exterminated. He had thought that Ouyang Rua was finished too, but he didn't expect her to be alive, and even appearing right before him in the flesh. Not only that, after several years, Ouyang Rua's strength actually seemed to be even greater than his. No, not only was she stronger than him, but even Zhao Ji was far inferior compared to her. One must know that back then, Ouyang Rua was far inferior to him. What kind of fortuitous encounter did this Ouyang Rua actually get? A few years ago, she was inferior to me, but today, her cultivation is so strong that it is clearly above the mid-human saint realm. In a flash, thoughts popped into Duan Lingtian's mind one after another. Duan Lingtian, you caused the extermination of my Ouyang family and the tragic death of my brother. Today, I will kill you to avenge my brother and the Ouyang family. At the same time, a cold woman's voice reached Duan Lingtian's ears. It was indeed Ouyang Rua's voice. In an instant, before Duan Lingtian could even react, Ouyang Rua had reached him, only inches away, looking at him with blood-red eyes. From her body, a vast power accompanied by surging devilish qi rose up, bringing immense pressure to Duan Lingtian. She's also a demonic cultivator. While sensing the crisis, Duan Lingtian inwardly gasped. Swoosh. As if sensing the crisis of its master, Duan Lingtian, the demon's sealing steel, which should have continued to kill Zhao Ji after its brief pause, actually ignored inertia again when it was only a finger's width from Zhao Ji and immediately turned back to charge at Ouyang Rua, abandoning Zhao Ji. Die! Just a moment before the demon's sealing steel turned back toward Ouyang Rua, a narrow blade appeared out of thin air in her hand. The narrow blade, containing surging devilish qi and a powerful force, shot through the air directly toward Duan Lingtian. Ouyang Rua's eyes were completely filled with the bloodlight of hatred. At this moment, only Duan Lingtian remained in her eyes. Even the demon's sealing steel turning back toward her seemed to be ignored by her. Clearly, even at the cost of her own life, she wanted to take down Duan Lingtian. In her view, if it weren't for Duan Lingtian, their Ouyang family would not have been exterminated, and her brother would not have been sent to that hellish place to die. And she would not have suffered such torment in that hellish place, surviving by a hair's breadth, only to finally obtain the legacy of the ancient demonic cultivator who had left that place behind. Precisely because she obtained the legacy of the ancient demonic cultivator hidden in that place called Gloomy Demon Valley, Ouyang Rua's cultivation had improved by leaps and bounds within a few years. By today, she had already entered the late human saint realm. She was 2 levels stronger than Zhao Ji. As Ouyang Rua attacked with her blade, Duan Lingtian felt immense pressure. This pressure made him nearly suffocate. After all, she had made the first move. Even though the demon's sealing steel was very fast, it would be difficult for it to suppress Ouyang Rua before her blade touched Duan Lingtian. Therefore, the demon's sealing steel could not save Duan Lingtian. At least, it couldn't save him at this very moment. Gui Xian sword, it's up to you. Ever since Ouyang Rua appeared and displayed strength above the mid-human saint realm, Duan Lingtian had been inwardly on guard. The 99 sacred meridians in his body had also circulated all of his solar true essence to his hands, ready to strike. Seeing Ouyang Rua's blade strike, Duan Lingtian activated the solar true essence he had long prepared and poured it into the Gui Xian sword without reservation. Because his life was at stake, a slight mistake would lead to eternal damnation. Therefore, the solar true essence Duan Lingtian poured into the Gui Xian sword was nearly all the solar true essence in his body. He truly held nothing back. Duan Lingtian's entire solar true essence merged into the Gui Xian sword, as if a peak great saint realm martial cultivator had poured all their true essence into it, causing the Gui Xian sword's brilliance to surge and emanate bursts of terrifying aura. Around its blade, streaks of solid golden sword energy simultaneously appeared. Swish! The Gui Xian sword, having greedily absorbed all of Duan Lingtian's solar true essence, finally whistled out with a flick of his hand to meet the blade in Ouyang Rua's hand. An arm trying to stop a chariot. Although she discovered the unusual nature of the sword in Duan Lingtian's hand, Ouyang Rua did not take this strike from Duan Lingtian to heart. In her view, he was merely a martial cultivator at the peak Great Saint realm. Even if he were given that super sacred artifact from the top 10 sacred artifact ranking, the Nine Heavens Sword, it would be impossible to stop her blade. This was her confidence as a late human saint realm demonic cultivator. If not for her fear of the demon sealing steel in Duan Lingtian's hand, she would not have remained hidden in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. It wasn't until Zhao Ji appeared and temporarily drew the attention of the demon sealing steel away from her that she realized this was the best opportunity to strike. Therefore, upon seeing that her probing attack on the demon sealing steel did not cause it to abandon Zhao Ji, she seized the opportunity and struck quickly. She had already prepared herself to perish together with Duan Lingtian. The blade in Ouyang Rua's hand cut through the air like a silver moon pouring down, finally meeting the Gui Xian sword swung by Duan Lingtian, and the two collided heavily. Boom, 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 boom. As the power of Ouyang Rua's blade collided with the power of the Gui Xian sword, the void trembled, emitting bursts of thunderous explosions. Rolling shockwaves swept outward, stirring up gusts of wild wind. Impossible. When she discovered that the power of the sword in Duan Lingtian's hand was actually faintly superior to the power of her blade, Ouyang Rua's expression changed instantly. Because she had never imagined that such a thing could happen. Wasn't this Duan Lingtian a martial cultivator at the peak Great Saint realm? Since when had the strength of a peak Great Saint realm martial cultivator become strong enough to contend with a late human Saint realm demonic cultivator? In the flash of a lightning bolt, Ouyang Rua did not even consider the sword in Duan Lingtian's hand. At the same time, Zhao Ji, who had been abandoned by the demon sealing steel in the distance, did not even have time to think or look at what had happened. He fled into the distance immediately. In the blink of an eye, his figure vanished into the distance like a ghost, far away from the place where Duan Lingtian and Ouyang Rua were fighting. Puchi. A crisp sound rang out as the Gui Xian sword in Duan Lingtian's hand severed the blade in Ouyang Rua's hand, then immediately turned into a venomous snake, viciously biting toward Ouyang Rua. After all, she was a being at the late human saint realm, and with the power of Duan Lingtian's Gui Xian sword lacking follow-up strength, Ouyang Rua managed to dodge the fatal strike of the Gui Xian sword. However, although she dodged the fatal strike of the Gui Xian sword, the demon sealing steel that was attacking from the other side had also arrived. Boom! The demon sealing steel tore through the air, seemingly transforming into a mountain as it descended upon Ouyang Rua, as if intending to suppress her completely. No! Facing the incoming demon sealing steel, and seeing Duan Lingtian in the distance with his pale complexion and tottering body, already at the end of his rope, Ouyang Rua's eyes were filled with unwillingness. Even if I die, I will drag you down with me. She exerted all her strength to urge the broken blade in her hand, wanting to throw it out and kill Duan Lingtian before the demon sealing steel could suppress her. She was confident that once the broken blade in her hand flew out, Duan Lingtian would undoubtedly die. This was her last chance. Unfortunately, at the very moment Ouyang Rua urged the power within her body to surge into the broken blade, wanting to throw it out, the terrifying power extending from the demon sealing steel had already enveloped her body. The rampaging power poured into her mind like it was free, directly strangling her soul. With her soul destroyed, Ouyang Rua's body naturally became a walking corpse, and the broken blade, which she had already positioned to throw, now slipped from her hand and fell. Huff! Huff, huff, huff. In the distance, seeing Ouyang Rua suppressed and killed by the demon sealing steel, Duan Lingtian's tense nerves instantly relaxed, and he gasped for breath heavily. Not good. That Zhao Ji ran away. After catching his breath and recovering slightly, Duan Lingtian inadvertently glanced into the distance. When he saw that there was no one there, his expression changed drastically. Demon sealing steel. At the same time, Duan Lingtian looked at the demon sealing steel. And the demon sealing steel seemed able to sense Duan Lingtian's mood, The black lightning flashing around its body surged and rampaged even more violently. Following that, it began to spin in midair, as if it were investigating something, or perhaps confirming a direction. Swish. A moment later, under Duan Lingtian's expectant gaze, the demon's sealing steel shook violently, then transformed into a meteor streaking across the sky, vanishing before Duan Lingtian's eyes in the blink of an eye. And the direction the demon's sealing steel chased in was exactly the direction Zhao Ji had fled. Zhao Ji. After putting away Ouyang Rua's storage ring, Duan Lingtian traveled using the remaining sliver of his solar true essence. Although his speed was not at its peak, it was not slow. However, as his solar true essence was continuously consumed, his speed slowed down again. I hope the demon sealing steel can catch up to Zhao Ji and suppress him. At this moment, Duan Lingtian could only pray silently in his heart. In the distance, after the demon's sealing steel abandoned him, Zhao Ji fled desperately into the distance, increasing his speed to the absolute limit, not daring to hold back even the slightest bit. At first, although he was fleeing, because he did not hear any movement behind him, his face wore a look of relief at having survived a catastrophe. However, when he heard the rapid sound of something cutting through the air behind him, his expression changed completely. That demon sealing steel? Is it chasing me? In the middle of his flight, Zhao Ji looked back. Just one glance, and he saw something like black lightning rushing toward him at a terrifying speed. This speed was even faster than that of a peak human Saint Realm expert. And in the instant Zhao Ji turned his head, saw that streak of black lightning, and a thought popped into his mind. The black lightning had already arrived before him, sweeping down upon his head. No! Zhao Ji only had time to let out a mournful cry before his body shook, and he fell from the sky. Looking at his wide-open eyes, the spiritual light was gone, replaced by a dull, lifeless haze. Clearly, Zhao Ji's soul had been suppressed by the demon's sealing steel. A quarter of an hour later, Duan Lingtian slowly arrived at the scene. When he saw the demon's sealing steel hovering in the air and Zhao Ji lying on the ground, he couldn't help but heave a sigh of relief. Fortunately, I didn't let this Zhao Ji escape. Otherwise, wouldn't the news that I am Duan Lingtian be known to everyone? The demon sealing steel is one of the famous sacred artifacts on the top 10 sacred artifact ranking of the Dao Martial Holy Land. Even if it were placed in the outer domains, it would be an incredible existence. Once the news spreads, even with the protection of the Qingyan Mansion, no one in the lower domain would dare to seize my demon sealing steel. But what about the outer domains? People in the lower domain fear the Qingyan Mansion to some extent, but those experts in the outer domains would not take the Qingyan Mansion to heart at all. Thinking of this, Duan Lingtian felt a lingering fear. However, with Zhao Ji's death, it also meant that all of this had come to an end. The news regarding him being Duan Lingtian would not spread, at least not for now. After killing Zhao Ji, Duan Lingtian rested for a while before continuing on his way to the Qingyan Mansion. Xiankong Mansion, main mansion. At this time, Jir should have already killed that Lingtian, right? Because Zhao Deng was restricted by the Yellow Hall Master, Qian Pingsheng, he had no way to leave the Xiankong Mansion grounds and could only stay at home waiting for news. Crack. Suddenly, a crisp sound came from not far away, attracting Zhao Deng's gaze. Zhao Deng looked over and saw that of the 3 beads enshrined on the table in the distance, the one on the far right had shattered directly into fragments. Seeing this bead shatter, Zhao Deng's eyes widened abruptly, and a blood-red color surged in them. Jier! After a long while, he finally roared, his voice filled with anger and sorrow. That bead was the soul bead of his son, Zhao Ji. The shattering of the soul bead meant that Zhao Ji had already been killed and his soul annihilated. Swish! Zhao Deng, whose heart was shrouded in anger and sorrow, completely threw Qian Pingsheng to the back of his mind. He flew away from his home immediately, preparing to leave the Xiankong Mansion to chase after Lingtian. He needed to know how his son had died. However, Qian Pingsheng did not know what Zhao Deng had experienced, so he blocked Zhao Deng quite decisively. Hallmaster Qian, my son has been killed by someone. Are you trying to stop me from finding the murderer? Or perhaps you are also one of the accomplices who killed my son. Zhao Deng stared at Qian Pingsheng with red eyes, making Qian Pingsheng feel a bit uneasy. Zhao Ji has been killed. Qian Pingsheng frowned. Do you think I would use this to lie to you? Hallmaster Qian, you had better think clearly. If because of your obstruction, I lose the best opportunity to search for the murderer, then you will also become an accomplice. At that time, you can explain it to my father yourself. Speaking to the end, Zhao Deng brought up his father, Zhao Jin, his tone filled with anger and impatience. Upon hearing this, Qian Pingsheng gasped. He could tell that what Zhao Deng said did not seem to be false. Therefore, he honestly stepped aside. Anyway, nearly half of the 3-day period had already passed. He reckoned that Ling Tian must have already moved far away from the Xiankong mansion, and even if Zhao Deng went to chase him, it was unlikely he would be able to catch up. When Zhao Ji had left the Xiankong mansion grounds, he had asked some Xiankong mansion disciples of the Zhao family lineage. After knowing the direction in which Duan Lingtian had left, as well as the direction in which the group of Xiankong mansion disciples at the Saint Realm stage had left, he had immediately rushed toward that side. Because he knew that his son, Zhao Ji, must have gone in that direction as well. Soon, Zhao Deng encountered the group of great Saint Realm disciples of the Zhao family lineage who were returning to the Xiankong mansion. He immediately stopped them and asked in a deep voice, "Have you seen Jier?" Vice Mansion Master. Facing Zhao Deng, the group of Zhao family lineage disciples bowed respectfully. When faced with Zhao Deng's inquiry, they nodded one after another. Vice Mansion Master, we previously met Junior Brother. However, Junior Brother later seemed to use an escape Dao talisman and vanished into thin air before our eyes. Many of them said in unison, "Escape Dao talisman?" Zhao Deng frowned. However, when his divine sense extended out and probed the group of Zhao family lineage disciples before him, he suddenly realized something. A group of great Saint Realm martial cultivators could simply not capture the speed of his son, who was at the early human Saint Realm. Therefore, it was normal for them to mistakenly believe that his son, Zhao Ji, had used a Taoist talisman of escape Dao talisman, a teleportation talisman. Zhao Ji thought to himself, as far as I know, all those of our Zhao family lineage at the Great Saint stage mid-level or above, as long as they were stationed at the Xiankong mansion and not in seclusion, went together to hunt down Duan Lingtian. Now, why do I only see you all? Where are Zhao Dong and the others? Zhao Deng looked at the group of Xiankong mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage, all at the Great Saint stage mid-level, and an ominous premonition rose in his heart. Vice Mansion Master, Zhao Dong, and those senior brothers at the Great Saint stage late level were all killed by Duan Ling Tian. Soon, someone responded to Zhao Deng's inquiry. What? Zhao Deng's face changed drastically upon hearing this. As if struck by lightning, Zhao Dong was killed. Zhao Dong was a disciple of the Zhao family lineage, ranked among the top of the Xiankong ranking, and had even reached the Great Saint stage peak a while ago, yet he was killed by Duan Lingtian today. Duan Lingtian. Flames of fury surged in Zhao Deng's eyes, as if they could incinerate everything. Duan Lingtian actually killed Zhao Dong and many other Great Saint stage late-level disciples of their Zhao family lineage. Such an act was undoubtedly destroying the foundation of their Zhao family lineage. Perhaps Zhao Deng and the others could not yet bear the heavy burden of the Zhao family lineage, but in a few decades or 100 years, the Zhao family lineage would rely on them. And now, Zhao Deng and the others had perished before they even had a chance to grow. They perished at Duan Lingtian's hands. How could Zhao Deng not be enraged? At this moment, Zhao Deng seemed to have completely forgotten one thing. That was, if Zhao Dong and the others had not gone to hunt down Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian would not have been so ruthless. Of course, let alone Zhao Deng forgetting this. Even if he remembered, he would not think that way. Because in his opinion, it was right for people of his Zhao family lineage to kill others, but wrong for others to kill people of his Zhao family lineage. When did you meet Jie? Taking a deep breath and suppressing the anger in his heart, Zhao Deng looked at the group of Xiankong Mansion disciples from the Zhao family lineage and asked again. After Duan Ling Tian killed Zhao Dong and the others and left, junior brother arrived. Someone was the first to respond. Were you also there at the time? Zhao Deng's face sank. Why didn't Duan Ling Tian kill you? Perhaps it's because we were slow and didn't get close enough to him, so we didn't provoke him. Or perhaps he disdained to kill us. Many people said with a bitter smile. Jie must have gone after Duan Ling Tian. Could it be that he was killed by Duan Ling Tian? Impossible. That Duan Ling Tian is only a great Saint stage peak martial cultivator. It's absolutely impossible for him to kill Jie. Zhao Deng's mind was filled with countless thoughts, and at the same time, his figure shot out, heading in the direction Duan Ling Tian had left. He was certain that his son, Zhao Ji, had definitely gone after that Duan Ling Tian. Therefore, to find clues about his son's death, he should follow this path. The Vice Mansion Master's expression seems a bit off. Seeing Zhao Deng leave in a hurry without even saying hello, the group of great Saint stage mid-level disciples from the Zhao family lineage looked at each other, all noticing Zhao Deng's grim expression and hurried demeanor, as if he had encountered something urgent. Could it be that something happened to junior brother? Someone said, and immediately the whole place fell silent again. There really is that possibility. A moment later, many people agreed. However, no matter what, this was only their guess. So they quickly stopped discussing the matter. If their guess were to spread and reach the Vice Mansion Master, or even the Protector, they would undoubtedly be in deep trouble. As he passed, Zhao Deng searched carefully. Soon, he discovered the bodies of Zhao Dong and the others. Although he had already heard that Zhao Dong and the others had been killed by Duan Ling Tian, when he actually saw their bodies, Zhao Deng's raging anger erupted once again. Duan Ling Tian, our Zhao family lineage, and you are irreconcilable. I, Zhao Deng, swear, if I don't kill you, I swear I won't be a human. Unfortunately, his hysteria was destined to not be heard by Duan Ling Tian. Even if he could hear it, Duan Ling Tian would only sneer. Irreconcilable? Before this, weren't the Zhao family lineage and he already irreconcilable? If not, how else would so many people from the Zhao family lineage go to such lengths to plot his demise? Jie. Because Zhao Deng was eager to find out the cause of his son's death and identify the murderer, after glancing at the bodies of Zhao Dong and the others a few more times, he rose into the air again and continued forward. Before long, he discovered a corpse. Who was this woman? The corpse Zhao Deng found was Ouyang Ruo. To be precise, it was Ouyang Ruo who had been suppressed and killed by the demon sealing steel. However, Zhao Deng did not recognize her. Although Zhao Deng did not recognize Ouyang Ruo, he still examined her body. After a thorough examination, he couldn't help but gasp. There isn't a single external wound on her. It seems she was killed by a shattered soul. The one who killed her must be a powerful expert who specializes in divine sense attacks. In the Dao martial saint land, whether it was among martial cultivators or Dao cultivators, there was a small portion of individuals who specialized in divine sense attacks. These people would often launch unexpected attacks with their divine sense, even killing people invisibly. Since it was the corpse of an unfamiliar woman, Zhao Deng didn't pay much attention to it, but instead began to observe the surroundings, and he actually found some traces. Traces of Zhao Ji fleeing for his life. Of course, Zhao Deng only found some traces, and did not know that they were traces of his son Zhao Ji fleeing for his life. However, he still followed the traces. An hour later, Zhao Deng found Zhao Ji's corpse. Even though he had killed many people, upon seeing his own son's corpse, he couldn't help but redden his eyes. Jie. Who? Who killed you? At this moment, Zhao Deng was almost completely irrational. As time passed, Zhao Deng seemed to realize that continuing like this would be futile. He began to calm down and examine his son's corpse. This examination indeed revealed a clue. He found that there was no external wound on Zhao Ji's entire body, not even a bruise. Jier also has no external wounds. He should also have been killed by a shattered soul. Could it be that he and the woman I saw earlier, who had been dead for a long time, were killed by the same person? Who on earth killed my son? Zhao Deng was going crazy because he found that the clues stopped here. He tried to find traces in the surroundings, but found nothing. Given Jier's speed, he must have caught up with that Duan Ling Tian before arriving here. However, so far, Duan Ling Tian's body hasn't been found. If I follow the direction Duan Ling Tian went after leaving the Xiankong mansion, I might find more clues. With this thought, Zhao Deng prepared to continue pursuing Duan Ling Tian. Of course, Zhao Ji's body was also placed into his spatial ring and kept safe. At this moment, besides sorrow, his face was filled with an uncontrollable rage. After Zhao Deng left the Xiankong mansion due to Zhao Ji's death and collected Zhao Ji's body, he pursued in the direction of the Azure Cloud Mansion. Duan Ling Tian, who was currently heading to the Azure Cloud Mansion, was naturally unaware of all this. However, even though he was unaware, he was still cautious. After killing Zhao Ji, he changed into a set of gray clothes. In addition, his appearance had undergone a drastic change through a disguise technique, transforming into an ordinary, unremarkable face. Now, even Duan Ling Tian's mother, Li Ro, standing in front of him, might not recognize him, let alone anyone else. After traveling for another stretch, Duan Ling Tian clearly heard a swift whistling sound coming from behind him. The whistling sound grew closer and closer, clearly indicating a powerful individual was traveling. Such speed. This person's cultivation is probably at least at the human saint stage late level. Duan Ling Tian thought to himself, but he didn't turn around, continuing to travel forward. Duan Ling Tian. Just then, Duan Ling Tian heard a loud shout from behind him, and immediately after, he felt as if he had been locked onto by a surge of energy. Zhao Deng. Duan Ling Tian immediately recognized the owner of the voice. It was Zhao Deng, one of the vice mansion masters of the Xiankong mansion. He wasn't particularly surprised by Zhao Deng's appearance here. He had already killed Zhao Ji, and as long as Zhao Ji had a soul pearl left in the Xiankong mansion, Zhao Deng would definitely know about Zhao Ji's death immediately and would leave the Xiankong mansion to pursue him. As for the powerful expert Gu Li had hired to restrict Zhao Deng, they might help Gu Li out of respect for Gu Li's father, Gu Xiun, but it was impossible for them to offend another protector, Zhao Jin. Upon learning that Zhao Jin's most beloved grandson, Zhao Ji, had been killed, how could he dare to continue obstructing Zhao Deng? Duan Ling Tian was not surprised that Zhao Deng called out his name. Although he was disguised now, his back had not changed, it was still the same as before. Looking only at his back, he was still himself. "Senior, are you calling me?" Duan Ling Tian simply turned around, looking at Zhao Deng, who was staring at him intently from not far away, with a bewildered expression and feigned ignorance. And seeing Duan Ling Tian's current ordinary face, Zhao Deng couldn't help but frown. How could this be? How could this person, whose back was almost identical to Duan Ling Tian's, have a different face? To be precise, how could he not be Duan Ling Tian? Extending his divine sense, he detected no traces of disguise on the other party's face, and Zhao Deng was greatly disappointed. However, facing Duan Ling Tian's feigned innocent inquiry after his disguise, Zhao Deng completely ignored it. With a flash, he vanished from Duan Ling Tian's sight. Seeing this, Duan Ling Tian couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief, his back soaked with sweat. Fortunately, I know a disguise technique that divine sense cannot detect. Otherwise, I would surely die today. Thinking of this, Duan Ling Tian couldn't help but feel a surge of relief. Let's continue on our way. At my current speed, I should be able to reach the Azure Cloud Mansion in a few more days. With a thought, Duan Ling Tian's figure moved again.